Welcome back to the show. It has been a while. The last episode I dropped was in December, and funnily enough, I had literally started a target to hit 200 subscribers before Christmas. And not the best way to go about hitting a target like that by just disappearing, but such is life. I got so busy at that time, and honestly, it stayed that way up until now. I wasn't even planning on dropping a video today, if we're being completely honest, but here I am. It is good to be back. And it's honestly thanks to not even my own club, who I've been stressing about behind the scenes. I'm back today because of both Manchester clubs, funnily enough. Man United, Man City, both playing a part respectively. It started with Manchester United yesterday morning because my day started with having to go to a mall, which is never a great way to start the day. But I'm wearing an Arsenal crew neck. I'm headed into Kenilworth Centre. And this dude starts shouting at me from outside the mall. Now he's like proper across the road, fence in between us. So he's shouting, you know what I mean? He's shouting at me. And all he's shouting is, United, United. So he must be addressing me. I'm the only dude that I see in my near vicinity wearing anything football related. So I turn towards him, I see him, I give a little bit of a smile, a thumbs up, and I'm chuckling to myself because again, like it's nice to see these guys happy again, bro. It's definitely nice. So I don't want to burst anybody's bubble. He's clearly having a good day. But he didn't take too kindly to the chuckle because when I turn away to start walking to the mall again, I just start yelling, "Are you mad to laugh? Are you mad I'm not playing? It's Man United." And then I started to realize, oh yeah, like I've been so out of the football discourse circle for so long, I forgot this is what it gets like. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of pulled me back in a little bit, just seeing that type of radical fansmanship from someone random. So I started to feed into it a little bit more. When I was at work, I was on Twitter, and obviously football Twitter is where the scum of the earth lives. But I was indulging, bro. There was a lot of rage baiting going on, and look, if you don't know me, rage bait often works on me. This is why I need to take proper timeouts from social media when it comes to football. Like if Arsenal lose, don't put me near a cell phone, bro, because I get set off. But yeah, I'm on Twitter, and naturally there's a lot of talk around Manchester City now. And if you don't know, on the overlap, they had a gent on there who was discussing a little bit more details about the case that everyone's waiting on a verdict on. And this is going to be the most poorly summarized version of it. If you do want to find out more, please, I do recommend that you go and watch the episode. But he touched on just how many pieces of evidence have been brought forward. I think it was over 500,000 pieces of evidence that have been brought forward. He spoke about how the trial had started since 2020, 2021 side, and he also did mention that he's expecting that there should be a verdict within the next few months, but I think we've been told this before. But anyway, that's a lot of damning evidence from the outside looking in. Manchester City obviously haven't been found guilty of anything yet, but that hasn't stopped people from just deciding what is the most fitting punishment. And that's what this video is about today. I'm here to give my opinions on it because I've realized I disagree with a lot of what most people think should happen here. I think that the club, I should probably start by saying, if Manchester City are found guilty, I think that the club should absolutely face the worst kinds of repercussions possible. I think relegate them as far down as you are possibly able to relegate them. Fine them as much as you are, bankrupt them even with the fines. You know what I mean? Absolutely send them to the trenches for it. But that being said, you cannot strip these players of the medals that they earned. You really can't. Look, this all boils down to about three things, in my opinion, why I think there's just things that people, I don't think, are considering enough here. And I think it starts with the players. I think that the players 100% did nothing wrong. Unless you can prove to me that any of these players joined the club knowing that there were sketchy circumstances around how the club paid for them, and that there were sketchy circumstances around how they were paid the money that they were offered by this club. I don't think any players are privy to that type of knowledge because they are just football players. Every Manchester City player is doing what every player at any other club does. If they didn't start there, then they played for a different team. They earned the opportunity to, get the interest of a top club from England, which Manchester City are, especially in recent years. And the Premier League is widely seen as the best league of all time. So as a football player, you would kind of see that as a goal. So if this club declares interest in you and your agent tells you, yo, Man City are looking at you, you're obviously going to have your head turned. And then they offer you what they offer you. You join the team. And you're not going to question, okay, how did I get here? Like, was this all league? You're not going to think about that. You're not even going to think about that about your teammates. Whoever you're playing alongside, your job is to just play with these people and win trophies. These players lost together, they drew together, they won together. Some of these players are carrying injuries from these years, probably. Some of them still have scars from some injuries. Like, these players won these games together. The way that they won on the pitch, I don't think is debatable in terms of they earned it. Like Manchester City teams over the years have given us some of the best football we've ever seen. And if you disagree there, then I think you're just a plain hater at this point, because they've scored so many goals, they've won so many games, they've accrued so many points. That doesn't happen through like whack football, for lack of a better phrasing, bro. These players earned every single medal that they won. And I know it's a sticky situation because everyone points out how the team was built. But I'm like, dude, screw that. But like, that's not the players' jobs to worry about. The players' jobs were to get out on that pitch, play to win, and win medals. And these Manchester City sides over the years have done plenty of that. Sergio Aguero was inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame, for crying out loud. Vincent Kompany's there too. And I'm pretty sure that they aren't the only two that are going to be. At some point, you'll see David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. You'll see these players get inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I think anybody would agree that they deserve to be there based on what we've seen them do on the pitch. So I think that it's a little bit harsh if we're going to strip players of medals that they genuinely earned. And I don't see how you can strip a club of the titles without stripping the players of the medals. So I disagree there. I don't think stripping the club of the titles is a good way to go about anything at this point. It doesn't just stop there. I think even Pep Guardiola, I think a lot of people are criticizing Pep Guardiola. And to be fair, I think he's probably more liable to have been in the know than the players, 100% more so than the players, because Pep Guardiola, in all the years he's been there, you can bet that he's been in and around conversations at a much higher level than the players would have access to. You know, I'm pretty sure that the club have been a lot more open with him around the finances, because when these rumors started to bubble, he probably had questions of his own. You know, I think he's a man of some serious integrity, and he will know that if this club is found guilty of all of this, his legacy is going to be kind of tarnished. But at the end of the day, as things stand, he is still one of the greatest, if not the greatest manager in current times. And a lot of people think that he could be the greatest manager of all time. I'm a lot of people. I think that Pep Guardiola 100% could be seen as the greatest manager of all time. So this is a man who has worked at massive clubs, bigger clubs than Manchester City. I think that he will know, you know, if there's smoke, there's fire. But the way he's been operating throughout this whole situation has been, it's thrown me off a little bit. I can't lie. It's thrown me off. And obviously, I'm not a detective. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a football fan who supports Arsenal, mind you. But the way that he's gone about it, I don't think that he would put himself in the line of fire for Manchester City like this if he genuinely felt that there was this, like, crazy amount of wrongdoing being done. And I also think that if he was aware of any of it, he wouldn't be there anymore. He wouldn't have signed a new deal and extended his time at the club. Look, I am obviously an idealist, so everything I'm saying here, all my speculation is based in an ideal world. In an ideal world, Pep Guardiola has no clue what is going on. Neither do the players, and they can be absolved at least of the guilty. I think that it's a handful of people at the top of Manchester City who are to blame for everything that's happening at the club right now. And so, yeah, I think that Pep Guardiola, he's probably going to catch a lot of flack as well, but he did just like any other manager would do at any other club. He spent the money that he was told was available to be spent. And he identified players that he felt could elevate the team and help them win trophies. And more often than not, it worked. Hence their trophy cabinet since Pep's joined. And I think that you can't blame him for how the team was built, because, again, it's not his job to go, hey, legally, can I afford this guy and that guy and that guy? No, you're the coach, you're the manager. You don't have to think about that stuff. You just go, hey, I want this dude. And if the financial department says yes, then you bring him in. Job done. You've done your job. You've made the team better. You've coached the team into title-winning teams, plural, because he's done it multiple times throughout his career. He knows how to do this. He didn't do anything wrong. Again, unless you can prove to me that he knowingly knew the money he was spending was being earned under sketchy circumstances by Manchester, which, again, I highly doubt, bro. I highly doubt. Then yeah, I'm going to stand by that. I don't see how Pep Guardiola can be guilty of any of this. The people that I think are more guilty of anything here are agents. I think that the agents should face serious penalties for this, for serious lack of due diligence when they got their clients these moves to Manchester City. I think that on the surface, they'll always talk about how they have their clients' best interest at heart and all that. I think maybe deep down they do, but money talks. And we've seen Manchester City pay, or not Manchester City directly, but we've seen their ownership pay big amounts of money to Premier League referees, for games in the Saudi League. I think it was. I'm very unprepared today, but yeah, like stranger things have happened. And I think that these agents, considering the rooms that they're in, the conversations they have with the people, because they're speaking to the sporting directors, they're speaking to a lot more often than their players, you know what I mean, than their client, not even just players. Pep Guardiola has an agent too. So I'm looking at the agents a lot more. I think that the agents need some serious reprimanding. If Manchester City are found guilty, all of this needs to be prefaced with a big if, because there's no verdict just yet. And as things stand, Manchester City are still allowed to operate in the league. So innocent until proven guilty. But yeah, I think that the agents, slimy in general. I don't like football agents. There's very few that I've come across in media where I've been like, like if I know your name, it's probably bad, bro. Like I don't trust. But yeah, I think that the agents are probably more at fault here, and they deserve a little bit more criticism. And of course, the ownership, bro. Everybody that is the decision maker around how this club is run. Once upon a time, I felt that Manchester City, ever since season 1 of All or Nothing, I thought Man City were like the best run club I'd ever seen, bro. I was in awe of how they were run. But yeah, if all of that really is going to be tarnished because they are found guilty for all of this, then that sucks, man. But I'm 100% with any Manchester City fan that backs their team like through those years and backs those achievements, because you did as any fan does for any other club, bro. It's not your job to question how money is being made or spent by the club that you support. You just have to trust that what they are doing is legal and support the team on the pitch. And that's exactly what they did. So I think more power to Man City fans. Don't let anybody try and take away those moments. I'm an Arsenal fan. Obviously, I would love to see Manchester City punished, like I said, as an institution. But I can't deny that those players and this manager have done some magical things in the league since they started this run of dominance, bro. And it extended beyond just the Premier League. They did win the Champions League together as well. I just think it's a little bit harsh if you start talking about stripping players of medals, bro. But yeah, by all means, like I said, if found guilty, relegate this team as far down, just kick them out of football entirely if possible. Because if they are found guilty, then this is honestly, it's embarrassing, and it's especially shameful on this club and everybody that had a hand in this current situation. But, find them, like I said, do your worst to the institution. But I just don't think that you can hold players and manager and coaches accountable. And I don't think that you can honestly, shush any Manchester City fan who will, even if found guilty, continue to flex all the achievements that they had over these years. Because at the end of the day, that team wrecked everyone, bar Liverpool once or twice. They wrecked everyone, bro. And everyone was on there. All the play. There was 11 players on the pitch versus 11 players on the pitch. It was a coach versus a coach. They just won football in that time. And I don't think that they should be stripped of the accolades for that. Well, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm very sure most people will disagree with this, but it's okay. It's the beauty of opinion. It's the beauty of football. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you, as always, for watching this video. I do plan on sticking around again more consistently, so subscribe to the channel. You won't be disappointed. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.